Okay, Jeff, I'm going to throw it to you in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if you've ever thought about starting your own company, you're going to want to watch this next segment. We're going to be introducing you to an accidental entrepreneur. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I remember when I quit my job at Fox 4 here in Dallas, my finger hovered over the send button for about a minute, my resignation letter, and I knew if I pushed that button, I couldn't take it back. And I pushed the button, and exhilarating and fear all at the same time. So anybody who's taken that jump into entrepreneurship knows that fear. And this is a good time to talk about it because we're in a recession and people are reinventing themselves. To talk about that today, my guest, Elyse Dickerson, she is the CEO of Eosera. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Very cool. Now, you didn't have the luxury of pressing send and I quit. What happened with you?
So I was with a company for 13 years, traveled the world launching brands and building brands, and then one day was given a notice that I was no longer needed at the company. So was let go, and the feeling of fear rushed over me and panic of what I was going to do next.
And sometimes that forces people to find another gear, doesn't it? So let's talk about Eosera. I mean, this is now a global company. Tell us about it.
So my co-founder and I both spent most of our career in healthcare, and we both left Alcon around the same time. And he had a background in research and development, and I had a background in commercialization. So we put our heads together and created a new healthcare company based in conscious capitalism, believing that business could be a force for good in the world. And fast forward 5 years, we now have about 7 ear care products in about 16,000 stores, and are continuing to expand. We're going to launch into the nasal category and manufacture everything right here in Fort Worth, Texas.
That is so inspiring because I know there's a lot of people watching this who say to themselves, could I be an entrepreneur? Am I any good at it? We're going to show a clip from your website. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
I love the all-for-one attitude that everyone has, where if there's a problem, we all race to try to fix it, and when we have a major accomplishment, we all share in the excitement, so it ends up amplifying these successes that we have and softens the blows of the mistakes that are.
It's a very comfortable place, working place for everybody, I would say. They give you the time to do your job right.
I think people genuinely care about the product and the quality of the product that we're producing, so it unites us behind a shared goal. We're able to work cohesively towards achieving that, so whatever needs to happen to get it done, we'll make sure that it gets done. I think it matters that we manufacture our own product because it connects us to our product and by extension to our customers. We see and participate in the creation of the product from start to finish, which is extremely rewarding and makes me appreciate the effort that goes into getting each product off the line and out the door.
You and I were visiting before the show. Earwax is a conversation that most people don't have. So when you're at a cocktail party and you tell them what you do, they're instantly drawn in, aren't they?
They are, and unexpectedly, everyone wants to tell me their earwax story. And Surprisingly, pretty much everyone has an earwax story, whether it's their own or their spouses or their children. It's something that plagues millions and millions of people.
Well, people don't think about it, do they? I mean, when they're taking a shower or whatever, they might like wipe their ear, but they're not getting in there with a Q-tip. I mean, give us some advice, as long as we're talking about earwax. What is the best way to care for your own ears?
Absolutely. So we are now in a society where we're sticking things in our ears all the time. So our AirPods, earbuds. And the worst thing you can do is stick something in your ear because it jams the earwax down into the ear canal. And when you have a rubber or a plastic in your ear, it's causing a natural reaction to pump out more oils and lipids, creating more wax.
Wow.
So we need to clean our ears on a regular basis. So you can either do that through using drops like ours, Earwax MD, that dissolve the earwax and it nicely rinses out, or using an irrigation device, which pumps water through the ear and just releases it. I do it in the shower. You know, it's an easy weekly thing to do.
Wow, and you make a great point about this kind of earbud generation. I mean, the generation that I grew up in, we weren't sticking things in our ears the way they are today. So the need for your products is just getting more and more acute every day. Talk about the nasal. You're making
We're making a leap to nasal. So we believe in letting the market tell us where the gaps are. We started with ear care because there just weren't products that patients or consumers could use at home that were effective. Now that we've sort of conquered that market, we're moving into nasal because, again, we see the need for nasal hygiene. So think of the neti pot. If you've tried to use those neti pots, they're very difficult to use. They're messy. We're coming out with a gravity-fed nasal rinsing device. Super easy to use, comfortable, and hope to, shake up the category.
Wow, you are so inspirational. And there's a new honor. We're going to put that up on the screen. Tell us about this. D Magazine just named you. What is it?
Well, I'm a finalist for Corporate Entrepreneur or Innovator of the Year. I just learned about this morning.
It's so exciting. How cool is that?
Yeah, very honored.
Do you just want to send your old bosses a thank you note?
Pretty much, yes. Pretty much every day. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Right? Okay, so the people watching this at home right now who are saying, am I cut out to be an entrepreneur? I mean, it's not for everybody, right? Because there are sleepless nights when you start a company, right? What would your advice be?
Well, I think the biggest learning for me was that no one does it alone. And there are so many people out there and organizations out there that are set up right here in Dallas-Fort Worth to help entrepreneurs. There's incubators, there's Tech Fort Worth, there's Health Wildcatters, all these, the Dallas Entrepreneurial Center.
Yes.
And they can help you make your start. And so it's that first step is definitely the hardest, but once you make it, you'll never want to turn back.
If you could talk to a younger you, give yourself advice in your 20s, would you have told yourself to go ahead and take the leap into entrepreneurship earlier?
No, for me personally, I think I needed the structure of a big corporate environment to learn. I used it essentially as another master's degree, right, to learn how to understand the markets, launch products. So that was I probably could have left earlier.
Yes.
But I needed that. To build my own confidence.
Yes. I want to give a shout out to Sean McGinnis and YPO because we were introduced through Sean.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about YPO and EO and some of these wonderful entrepreneur groups.
So I just joined YPO about a year ago, and I'll tell you, it's been an incredible organization, especially going, with the pandemic hitting and the recession. The amount of learning resources and network resources has really been, unbelievable.
Yes.
And so I just feel blessed and honored to be part of the organization.
Yes.
And I know EO is very similar to YPO.
And one of the things that I'm seeing now is everybody from the millennials and Gen Zs to the boomers are starting businesses. And so part of it is surround yourself with your new tribe of entrepreneurs, because if you're talking to somebody who works inside of corporate America, they can't often deal with the problems that you're facing now, right? So you have to find a peer group.
Exactly. And I think, there's this misnomer that successful people don't fail. That's exactly wrong. everyone that is successful has failed over and over and over. It's the way they've rebounded from those failures. We fail daily, at our company, but it's a badge of honor, right? Because we're never going to make that same mistake again. We can call on these networks and these other entrepreneurs to help, and people come out in droves. They want to see you succeed.
Wow, I'm so inspired by you. We're almost out of time, so final thoughts. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Just that, I am personally passionate about women in business and encouraging women to get out there and pursue their dreams. And, again, the first step is the hardest, but ask for help. I never imagined I would be where I am today, and I didn't do it alone.
Congratulations on your success, and I know more is on the way. So we're going to end with your website so everybody can get in touch. It's eosera.com, right there on the screen. And Elyse Dickerson, you have been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.